Alright. I'm gonna give some time to see if anybody pops in. And I will be viewing the chat while I go over this, so. And not just the top chat, I'm gonna do live chat. Even, like, if I get a lot of people, I might switch over to top, but I don't know, it kind of discriminates. So. It's whatever. And I'm not drinking pickle juice this time. It's Mountain Dew. But this is this is pretty disheartening stuff going on with Discord. Wait to see if anybody pops in. If I'll give it a couple minutes, and if nobody shows up, I'll just start my spiel on this, and go over everything, and maybe people will watch it later. But I'm really hoping some people will jump in on this and talk about this with me, because I'm not a lawyer. I don't know, like, legally what any of this actually boils down to, but I am a very literary person. Literary minded, not literally minded, but literary minded. I understand words and the way that they're presented to me. And this is very troubling. This makes me very uncomfortable. Uh, not just using their service, but already have used their service for some time. And from what I could tell at a glance, it doesn't seem like they're discriminating on information presented before the changes, and that goes for everything. Everything. And they have everything, believe me. I'm waiting. Says that there's one person watching. Could you have yourself be known in the chat, please? Please. I'm dying to discuss this with somebody. I'm even going to try to tone down my typically foul mouth for this. I mean, I don't really have to worry about monetization. My channel's so small that I can't even monetize videos. But nonetheless. Alright, I guess I'll get right into it then. So, what we got here? I'm not going to be going over the full terms of service. I'm just going over what they changed. So, dispute resolution. Please read this section carefully. It may significantly affect your legal rights, including your right to file a lawsuit in court. You and Discord agree that these terms affect interstate commerce and that the Federal Arbitration Act governs the interpretation and enforcement of these arbitration provisions. As an aside, I know I haven't even really gotten into it, but This doesn't affect anyone in Europe. Mostly because everyone, like, from what I know and understand of how it works in Europe, people are protected there to be able to file any complaint they deem necessary of any uh, authoritative, like, figurehead, I guess. Like, it's hard to really explain. Most disputes can be resolved without resorting to arbitration. In the event of a dispute, you agree to provide us notice of the dispute. This notice must provide a brief written description of the dispute, the relief requested, and the contact information of the party giving it. You must send any such notice to Discord by email to disputes@discord.com and by US mail to Discord Inc. 444 blah blah blah. The parties agree to use their best efforts to settle any dispute, claim, question, or disagreement directly through consultation with one another, and good faith negotiation shall be a condition to either party initiating a lawsuit or arbitration. Now that's fucking adorable. Oops. I already broke what I said earlier. I'm already resorting to F-bombs. That is freaking adorable. Is this really where we're at? Has, like, SJW rhetoric entered legal documentation? Notwithstanding the foregoing, disputes concerning patents, copyrights, moral rights, trademarks, and trade secrets, and claims of piracy or unauthorized use of the site shall not be subject to arbitration. And the notice in good faith negotiation required by this photograph shall not apply to these types of disputes. Or, I'm sorry, required by this paragraph shall not apply to these types of disputes. Binding arbitration. Except as provided herein, if we cannot resolve a dispute informally, any dispute will be resolved only by binding arbitration to be held in the U.S. state in which you reside. For residents outside the United States, arbitration shall be initiated in San Francisco, California. Discord and you further agree to submit to the personal jurisdiction of any state or federal court in San Francisco, California, to compel arbitration, stay proceedings pending arbitration, or to confirm, modify, vacate, or enter judgment on the award entered by the arbitrator. So basically this is saying they cannot resolve a dispute informally. So they're giving no way for people to settle things, settle issues that they have with them without doing so in a courtroom. But let's read on. The arbitration shall be conducted by a single arbitrator governed by the rules of JAMS that are in effect at the time the arbitration is initiated, referred to as the JAMS rules, and under the rules set forth in these terms. If there is a conflict between the JAMS rules and the rules set forth in these terms, the rules set forth in these terms will govern. Arbitration means that you waive your right to a jury trial. You may, in arbitration, seek any and all remedies otherwise available to you pursuant to your state's law. To the extent the filing fee for the arbitration exceeds the cost of filing a lawsuit, Discord will pay the additional cost. Discord shall also bear the cost of any arbitration fees unless the arbitrator finds your claims, defenses, or other fee-generating activity to be asserted or conducted for an improper purpose or frivolous, which they're always going to claim. You are responsible for all other additional costs that you may incur in the arbitration, including, without limitation, attorney's fees and expert witness costs, unless Discord is specifically required to pay such fees under applicable law, which they usually won't be. The decision of the arbitrator will be in writing and binding and conclusive on Discord and you, and judgment to enforce the decision may be entered by any court of competent jurisdiction. Discord and you agree that dispositive motions, including without limitation motions to dismiss and motions for summary judgment, will be allowed in the arbitration. The arbitrator must follow these terms of service and can award the same damages and relief as a court, including injunctive or other equitable relief and attorney's fees. Discord and you understand that absent this mandatory arbitration provision, Discord and you would have the right to sue in court and have a jury trial. Okay. They're just going around in circles with this. It's a very long-winded way of saying you're not going to take us to into an actual court case. We're going to settle this in a courtroom with our lawyers, one-on-one, in front of a judge, and that's going to be that. Discord and you further understand that in some instances the costs of arbitration could exceed the costs of litigation, and that the right to discovery may be more limited in arbitration than in court. If Discord's or your claim is solely for monetary relief of $10,000 or less and does not include a request for any type of equitable remedy, the party bringing the claim may choose whether the arbitration of the claim will be conducted through a telephonic hearing or by an in-person hearing under the JAMS rules, solely based on documents submitted to the arbitrator. You or Discord may choose to pursue a claim in small claims court where jurisdiction and venue over you and Discord otherwise qualifies for such small claims court, and where the claim does not include a request for any type of equitable relief. However, if you decide to pursue a claim in small claims court, you agree to still provide Discord with advance notice by email to opt-out right. You have the right to opt out and not be bound by the provisions requiring arbitration by sending written notice of your decision to opt out to Discord by email to arbitrationoptout@discord.com. I'll be providing the link to where you can get a form to just fill out, and it will be legally binding, and they can't just say, oh, well, this wasn't properly written and documented, so there's no way that this holds up. I'm helpful. The notice must be sent within 30 days of this terms of service taking effect or your account creation on the service. By the way, this was just changed like yesterday, so still got 29 days. If you do not opt out via this method, you will be bound to arbitrate disputes in accordance with the terms of these paragraphs. If you opt out of the provisions requiring arbitration, Discord will not be bound by them either. If any clause within this arbitration section is found to be illegal or unenforceable, that specific clause will be severed from this section, and the remainder of its provisions will be given full force and effect. Survival. This arbitration section shall survive any termination of your account or service. You can terminate your account, and this still holds true to all of the information that they have on their servers about you already, and all of your chat logs. Class waiver. Once more, please read this section carefully. It may significantly affect your legal rights. Discord and you agree To resolve any dispute will be brought in an individual capacity and not on behalf of or as part of any purported class, consolidated, or representative proceeding. The arbitrator cannot combine more than one person's or entity's claims into a single case, and cannot preside over any consolidated class or representative proceeding, unless we agree otherwise. And the arbitrator's decision or award in one person or entity's case can only impact the person or entity that brought the claim, not other Discord customers, and cannot be used to decide other disputes with other customers. If any court or arbitrator determines that the class consolidated representative action waiver set forth in this section is void or unenforceable for any reason, or that arbitration can proceed on a class, consolidated, or representative basis, then the disputes, claims, or controversies will not be subject to arbitration and must be litigated in federal court located in San Francisco, California. This class action waiver section shall survive any termination of your account or services. So basically, if they decide to take all of the information presented in a log and of a server, right? We've all got our free Discord servers where we have 10 to 20 people talking amongst themselves and thinking that they can speak freely. Well, you can't. Because Discord has logs of every server. They have logs of all of your private messages. They have all of the information on your account, including and not limited to any payment methods you have used. Your legal name, your email address, whether it be personal or private that you used for joining Discord. And basically, if they decide to use that information against you somehow, or they decide to... I'm not saying they would. There's a difference between saying they would and saying if they do. If they do sell your information to someone, another company, for whatever reason, advertising purposes likely, if they decide to display your information on their website, if they decide to use your chat logs to, I don't know, spread ridicule amongst the staff there, and then it starts spreading around the internet, they can't be held liable for that. By this. Well, they can to an extent. They can't be held liable in court over that. And even if you are able to get one of these private one-on-ones with them and their lawyers and your lawyer, I guess, I don't know. I'm by the way this sounds, you would have to represent yourself in this. You probably wouldn't even be allowed a lawyer. And if they decide, if it's dictated that either you are doing this for frivolous reasons, or it's an unjust claim, or that your dispute has nothing to do with Discord as a business, that they don't have to do anything. They don't have to take responsibility for what happened. and only your information and messages apply for you. Okay, so let's say you're the administrator of a Discord server, right? you have the operator role or whatever. I use IRC and I always call it operator. Uh, if you're a moderator on a Discord server and you decide to try to represent everyone in your server because all of your chat log, like the entire log, was released. No, only your messages apply to your case. You can't. Okay, let's switch over here for a bit so I can give you guys a little more clarity. Unfortunately, this change comes with a revocation of your legal rights. Discord has revoked your right to sue. You must go through an arbitrator and to congregate as a class action lawsuit. Luckily, there is an opt-out for this clause, in which you must email arbitration opt-out. But you must do it within 30 days or you can no longer opt out. You cannot delete or deactivate your account to opt out of the arbitration clause. So don't do that if you've done it already, because you will not be able to opt out at all. You pretty much ruined yourself at that point. And that's what I just read. Is this enforceable? In the United States? Yes. This was decided by the Supreme Court in 2011. Thanks, Obama. In Europe, no. There are many clauses. A relevant one is Article 77 of the GDPR, right to lodge a complaint with a supervisory authority. And that's what I was saying earlier about I didn't believe that anyone outside of the US had any concerns, because as far as I know, most countries outside of the US follow that same standard. I could be wrong on that. So if you're from like Canada or Australia or any other place not European, Mexico perhaps, you may want to check, like. So why does this matter? Without the ability to congregate for a class action lawsuit, if Discord ever leaks your data or does something catastrophically bad to a large portion of the population, you have no way to representatively sue together without each of you individually suing via an arbitrator. Essentially, 1. Your right to file a complaint in the court of law is removed. 2. The arbitration system tends to heavily favor the company rather than the consumer. And 3. Since your right to pull similar complaints together is taken away, the amount of damage you can do to a company that has wronged you significantly is limited to those who are willing to arbitrate. Why should I care? Other companies do it too. By learning about this, I hope that you will be more conscious about these arbitration clauses and how anti-consumer they are. You can't change the past, but you surely can't predict the future either. So, and there's also an email template on this page. I'll put the link up on my stream. Give me just a moment. So there's the link where you can find this form if you want to go to it straight away. as I would hope anyone would want to. I don't know, this is very concerning to me. Not that I've said anything in Discord servers that could be used against me some way, or that I care about the email that I used to sign up for Discord with. But what I do care about is the fact that I used to have a, what is it called on there? Hold up, let me check real quick. I used to support them through Discord Nitro, and so they have payment information of mine, which in retrospect, I'm fucking stupid. But yeah. I wish that companies would take action to restrict themselves instead of their customers and users. Because the fact that if something happens and Discord is to blame, there's little to nothing that a normal person can do about it without a lot of money backing them. Because, like it said, an arbitrator is 90% of the time going to side with the the company that the claim is being made against. And it's not that there's nothing you can do here, because there's the link, there's the email template, and if you send this to them, you can essentially opt out of being affected by any of the changes made to their terms of service here. For those of you who may be, I don't know why anyone visually impaired would be using YouTube or even be watching me, but just in case, to whom it may concern, please be advised that I do not consent to the arbitration section of the updated Discord terms of service, and I also do not waive my right to resolve disputes on behalf of, or as part of, a class consolidated or representative proceeding. I recognize that Discord will not be bound by the provisions of the arbitration section. My username is, insert username there, and the email address associated with my account is your email address associated with your account. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Sincerely, your name, your username with your hash code number, your Discord ID, your login ID, your email associated with your account, and optionally your phone number associated with the account. Now, I'd imagine that they won't contact many people that send them that email, but they do have to abide by it. like, seeing all this. But yeah, I guess that's it. To any of you watching, this is a sad reality. Companies do things like this, and there's not really much that we can do about it other than take the actions given to us that we can take. So I would highly advise everyone, not just the people watching this, if you could provide anyone who watches this, if you could provide that link to everyone that you know that uses Discord or has ever used Discord in the past, I thank you. They will thank you. The world thanks you. You're a freaking hero.